Hello friends, hello YouTube, Rainbow here with another Nerf mod video, and I couldn't be more excited to present this Nerf mod because it was so much fun to make and I just love how it came out. And I am talking about this one right here, as you've seen in the intro. So what actually is this? This is an integration from a Nerf BigShock and some cheap €2 whatever blaster that my friend Alpha gave to me at the Blastertreffen in Ulm. And yeah, it was broken and he's like, you could probably use it for something. And I saw it and I had a BigShock on a table and I was like, these two, yes, they work. So before we go any further, I give you a quick overview of the blaster, but not like I usually do, but with a little video right here. So this is what they looked like when we started. Got the BigShock here and that cheap blue whatever blaster right there and the piece of brass. So I've taken these two blasters and I've integrated them into this, which is now a pistol blaster with an inline clip that shoots elite darts as well as short darts. And to those of you who don't know how inline clips work and how to make these kind of things, don't worry, I've already got the request for a tutorial on this and I will do it. I have another project lined up which will be a similar pistol to this, using a BigShock and turning it into a elite dart inline clip system. And I'm going to use that project, a future project, to make a video on how to do inline clips. So just make sure you're sub to the channel and hit the subscribe, the notification bell thing, so that you don't miss the video when it comes out. But just so you understand how an inline clip works, within this piece of brass you store several darts. It's in this case either 3 elite darts or 7 short darts, up to 7 short darts, and there's a narrow bit in the front here which will hold the first dart. So when you prime and shoot, it'll only allow 1 dart to fly out and it'll stop the others from flying out. And so you have intentionally like an internal magazine, but it's not a magazine, it's a clip system. So all you got to do is prime, shoot, prime, shoot, prime, and shoot again. And the little motion that I do here, it's to make sure that this dart sort of moves from the back here to the front, so it's as close to the narrow bit as possible. But as you've seen and heard, it fires quite nicely. I really like it. This project is only a little integration, but it was so much fun to do, and I'm quite proud on how this works. For those of you who follow me on my Instagram, the Rainbow Mods and Props channel, you have seen a lot of working progress of this. If you're interested and you haven't seen it, go check out the link in the description. Go check out the Instagram for the making of this. We've got the BigShock as the main and working blaster, so the plunger of the BigShock sits right here underneath this grip. This is the original BigShock grip in the back, but the side panels here are from the cheap blaster that I put them together so that you can actually have a solid grip. I've also cut down the inside of the BigShock grip right here, so it's a smooth hold around, and it actually feels quite nice. The handguard here is from a Raptor Strike. I had that laying about from when I was doing the Razor Song build and didn't need it, and yeah, it's just a great addition to this, which is basically just glued and screwed into here and here. And then I knew that I was going to keep the top side of this cheap blaster because I wanted to make the Desert Eagle kind of look like thing. So I knew that that was going to happen, so I had to cut off the BigShock right here, and I ended up doing the cut off part of the BigShock, this one here, taking it off there and putting it underneath here. So this is normally what's on top of the BigShock right there. I've done a lot of epoxy work to fill in this and the gaps here with the original shell from here and also the front here, so it looks like it was meant to be that way, and I'm quite happy with how it turned out. The top slide, by the way, still moves. So that was the prime for the cheap blaster. You would prime it like that, and I kind of wanted to keep this function, but I obviously couldn't make it prime this because you have to pull that out here. But I still thought it would, you know, just look cool if you're primed and ready to go, and you know, just style points really. And that's basically why I kept the entire thing and the entire top of this in that manner. The front here is to cover the brass, because the brass runs from all the way here to here. So I have the full length, so I could have at least 6 short darts in there. That was the idea. But then I knew I don't like the idea of brass sticking out blasters just as it is, so I've decided to make this silencer. I've been asked by several people where the silencer's from. I made it, and it's a PVC pipe. It's actually two. There's another one around the piece of brass, and then some spacers and an outer PVC pipe. And these panels, they are actually from the Boomco Farshot. I don't know if you remember this blaster. I've never had this blaster, but for some reason, in one of the boxes of spare parts that I acquired last year, there was the shells of a Boomco Farshot. And I really like this pattern. And I was like, yep, I'm going to turn this into the silencer. And so I cut these out and I just glued it on to that piece of pipe. And that's how I made that. When you look in there, you can see the brass. And you can also see the smaller brass inside, which is the narrow bit. There we go. Just to weighten this out, because I have done a lot of epoxy work here, the entire back end of this on the inside is filled with epoxy, so this is actually quite comfortable. I like the feel. The weight balance is quite nice. It's still a bit front heavy, but if I wouldn't have done that, it would just sort of drop down there with all this over here. So what's happened to the internals? It's a BigShock, so there's not much modding potential, but I've tried several springs and I came back to the original one. This is rocking the original BigShock spring, and with the rebarrel to short darts and elite darts, on single shots, it does consistently around 80 FPS. And if you have multiple darts in there, you have a drop of FPS depending on how many darts you have in there, but it is absolutely fine between 60 and 80. It's great. It's a great little blaster. Let's talk about the paint job real quick. This is pretty straightforward. I had this blue metallic that I wanted on a blaster because I love how shiny it is. And the fun thing actually, this design in my head was a complete different one when I started the project. I wanted to name it differently. I wanted to do something completely different. Then I found this spray can that I've never used. And from the top of it, it looked like it was going to be a lot different. It was called Ice Blue something. And I just expected it to be a lot different and not this kind of jeans kind of blue sort of thing. And then I sprayed it on the blaster and I was like, that's a lot darker than I thought. But then it cured and I just loved it. And I was like, okay, plans change. We're going to put gold details on there and it's going to be awesome. And then I took a look at this, and this thing reminded me of something. That's the original from the Boomco blaster, and it reminded me of something. And yes, it was Fallout, because the Vault-Tec sign looks like this. Whoops. And so between this and this, yeah, so it's like great. Blue and grey is pretty similar to blue and yellow, so we're going to make this a Vault-Tec blaster, and bam, there it was. So that's a perfect example of how a project started out completely different, and then within the painting stage sort of redone all the ideas that I had about it. So that's why LS-50 is a running number, and Vault-Tec because, and it's called Silent Savant. It's up there. Whoop, whoop. And for those of you who've played and modded Fallout 4, you know what this is about. Doesn't need any explaining. It just works with the silencer and everything. One thing that's different about this paint job are the names and numbers. So the names, numbers, this sign here, as well as on the other side, they're not painted, are not with any decal or anything. They are actually vinyl stickers. Shout out to my girlfriend who helped me with this. She's got a plotter and knows how to make these kind of things, and I'm just about learning what this machine can do, and it's fantastic. So she cut out all these stickers and taught me how to use transfer sheets and all that to put them on here like in a line, and so you don't have to do one letter by letter, you can do like the entire things, and it's so great. And of course I had to try out if the clear coat wouldn't damage it, which I have done several times. And to finish this off, because I wanted it to be shiny, and you can see with the black how shiny it actually is, I did only use clear coat to finish this, and I used a different clear coat this time, which has a nicer curing time and a nicer curing effect. And I think it's Motip. You can get it. I get this from the Netherlands actually, and it's Motip, I think. And yeah, this just gives it such a nice shiny metallic finish. I really love how this came out. Yeah, so that is a little pistol mod. I can't believe how much joy it was to make this, and how happy I am by just sort of holding it and looking at it, and how shiny and how well it actually sits in the hand. Let me know what you think about this mod. I really love it. Yeah, that's all I can say. I just love it. Done. And as always, thank you guys very much for watching. Please make sure to check out the links in the description and my social media. And it will mean the world to me if you subscribe to the channel. At the end of the video, a quick shout out to those who watch it in time. I will be doing a talk at FilmFest Live this Saturday, talking about spray paint techniques and how to spray paint, how to paint blasters, and having a little Q&A and all that. So make sure to be there if you want to know more about how I do my paint jobs and all that. And other than that, as always, thank you guys so very much for watching. Please make sure to check out the links in the description. As I said, if you want to have more working progress on this, check out my Instagram. It also means the world to me if you leave a sub to the channel as well as a like to the video. And also, if you feel like it, check out my Patreon. There's more insights to many of my builds. And yeah, shout out to my patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for supporting me. It means the world to me. So nothing more to say here really. Make sure to check out my website. Make sure to check out the videos on screen now. Make sure to sub to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Love and sunshine, my friends.